Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jessica Morrison, Realtor with Veris Property Group. And today we have Amie Drudge with Choice Home Warranty. And if you've never purchased a home warranty or are kind of perplexed about maybe if this is something that you need to consider when making a home purchase or as a homeowner having some additional coverage, this conversation is for you. So Amie, thank you so much for giving us your time and energy. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm great, ready for the holidays and ready to talk about warranty with you. So ask me all the questions you want. I'm going to try to be as honest as I can with you and your clients, and hopefully they'll learn from this and just learn about home warranty on a general level.
Excellent. So let's start off with an introduction. How did you get connected with home warranties and specifically Choice in the first place?
Well, I've been in the business about 10 years and I love what I do. I started kind of in the lending world. I was a stay-at-home mom for years, and I had to go back and get a job, right? And so I started at Fairway Independent Mortgage, and I worked at their front desk, and I just kind of worked my way up. I loved the industry, and then my job with another home warranty came along, and I immediately found a home and just thought, oh wow, this is for me. And that was about 9 years ago. And then I worked for that company for about 4 years. And then I, dabbled in lending a little bit more for a quick cup of coffee, and then came back to warranty because I realized, it was something that I was really good at. I liked it. And so here I am with Choice on Warranty.
I love it. And for those who are not in the real estate industry, I can tell you that Amie owns the market when it comes to being one of the go-to reps for home warranty companies in our area. She actually won an award a number of years ago. I was in the audience and it was just great to watch the whole room not only light up with applause, but you could just tell that there was this synergy with Amie and the audience. And the audience was filled with a lot of top producers. And Amie did not ask me to say this, but it's just a fun pairing. I think when you can come across people like Amie, who not only is good at what they do, but you can tell that they love what they do. And Amie's very passionate about educating clients. So little side
Oh,
benefit
you're going to
for
make me
you all
cry.
today.
Thanks.
But it's true. And I think that's just, I can tell that you love what you do. And I'm excited for our audience to get that feel today, or your knowledge as well. So let's kind of segue into, you're working with a first-time home buyer, or maybe somebody who's not purchased a home for a while, and they're evaluating if they should ask the seller or maybe consider paying out of their own pocket the money for a home warranty. Why would you think that that's a good investment?
Well, especially for first-time home buyers, I think, they're probably spending most of their savings account on the down payment for this house, right? And so when they move into the home, it's a little bit traumatic if something breaks down, like your HVAC or your water heater. Even a refrigerator is expensive these days, right? And so the home warranty will come in and protect you against those mechanical failures. And what happens is you file a claim, you pay a deductible, we try to repair it and get you back into the same position you were in before. If we cannot repair it, then we replace it. So it saves them that money, especially on HVAC and water heater, that they don't just have to be out of pocket like thousands of dollars right away after they just purchased this new home.
Yes, I think that's, having worked with a number of first-time home buyers over the years, that's frequently a big question. And there are certainly things you can do to set yourself up for success to avoid having that house be a curse after closing. If you can try to find a home that's had, new HVAC, new roof, things redone, like the major ticket items, and then all you have to do is cosmetic things after closing, then that theoretically lowers your dollar. But again, there's never a guarantee that everything is going to be done perfect. That's why we have home inspections, and we also have homeowners insurance. But for the first year, it's, like you said, a nice extra blanket of protection or coverage. So Amy, you mentioned deductibles and services. I think sometimes what's a catch-22 when people select a home warranty is they just think, oh, I'm going to call this number, I have an issue, they'll come out and it'll be covered, I won't have to pay anything. And that's not necessarily the case. So can you kind of cover, and maybe this can't I don't know if you can generalize the industry average, or if you want to speak to specifically what Choice's rates are, which are subject to change, FYI, for those watching. But let's talk a little bit about the deductible and maybe some of the average repair costs that people could anticipate, as opposed to things that are just straight covered, if that makes sense.
Okay. There's so much to talk about here. I get so excited about the education piece. It's really my favorite piece aside from the relationship building, but great questions. So deductibles, or in home warranty language, we call that a trade call fee, right? Trade, like a tradesman is going to come out and see you. They're anywhere between about $65 to $100. All right. And that's just industry average. Choice is 65, some are 75, some are 100. It just depends on what company you use. Okay. So that's your deductible. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and this is kind of the tips of the trade that no one's going to tell you. Home warranty doesn't cover everything. If your failure is not a normal wear and tear failure, like if a tree falls on your heating unit out, or your HVAC unit that sits on the outside of your house, that's not normal wear and tear. If your toilet porcelain cracks because your kids stood on it, right? That's not a covered claim. That's not normal wear and tear. So those are dollars that you will be out, even if you've paid that deductible and a vendor comes out to your house and they say it's not normal wear and tear. That's still not a covered claim, and you've also paid your deductible. So know that before you file a claim. And then also, I always like to talk about this at this time. Home warranty only fixes what's broken, okay? So if your refrigerator breaks, obviously an appliance is easy. That's an easy repair or replacement. Basically, if your refrigerator breaks and we can't repair it with, like a new compressor or fix your ice maker, then we have to replace it. You're out $65. Most companies are just going to write you a check for a new one. Now, if something larger breaks down, and 65 is all you're out, or your deductible, or the 75 or the 100, whatever your home warranty company charges, that would be all you're out for something like that, okay? If something larger breaks down, like your water heater or your HVAC system, I'm going to go back and say this: the home warranty fixes what's broken. If any modifications have to occur, so like say your water heater busts and it goes all over your hardwood floors, your beautiful hardwood floors are ruined, it goes 3 inches up your drywall, the warranty is going to fix the mechanical failure. It's not going to come in and fix your floors. It's not going to come in and fix your drywall. That's probably an insurance claim. And one last thing, if any modifications have to occur to get that new water heater in where that old one was, modification costs are at the homeowner's expense. And that is with all home warranty companies, okay? If you get a top plan with home warranty companies, like you get what you pay for, it's true. Always get the top plan. There's typically about an $80, $100 difference between the middle and the top plan. The top plan is going to cover you for some modification costs, all right? And so get the top plan because you get what you pay for, okay?
I love it. And I would say that that's very consistent with what I've heard or witnessed over the course of my career. What would you say is generally the big difference between the basic or entry level packages and the top level, and why is that so critical that they go for the top level?
So the lower end package typically excludes, and this is 3-4 home warranty companies, not everyone, but it's going to exclude things like washer, dryer, sometimes refrigerator. The middle package, at least with Choice, we cover all major mechanical, but the top package, the Mac Daddy package is what I like to call it, all the bells and whistles. And a bell and whistle is with a couple of home warranty companies, actually most of us, is sediment buildup in water heaters. So if you've got a $500 plan versus a $580 plan and your water heater is full of sediment and it has to be replaced, it's only replaced with that top plan. Okay, so I mean that's $1,000. That's $1,200 right there or more that you're saving because you spent $80 more when you closed with that warranty, right? You're going to save thousands of dollars. Okay, so those are the differences. Some modification costs, valves, like the language is so funny. Read your language, read your contract. There's so much covered in that top plan that isn't covered in that low end plan. Most of the time it has to do with those tricky little things like sediment buildup in water heaters or washer, dryer, fridge. Like make sure you read, okay?
This is so excellent. Guys, I'll probably make all of my clients watch this interview after this, just because it's so helpful to have someone directly explain this rather than me trying to be the source of the source in this scenario. Um, Regarding the cost situation, um, one thing that I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that not only do sometimes homeowners have to pay for the technician to come out, like you're talking about the tradesman fee, um, but sometimes I've heard that home warranties don't always cover everything if a part has to be replaced. Like you mentioned, if something is broken, if there's something in the water heater or the furnace that is not working. I've heard some home warranties say that, oh, well, that's not covered. And so then it's a homeowner's expense. And then the homeowner, turns around and asks the agent, well, then what's the purpose of a home warranty? Would you say that that's true, or is that inconsistent?
I wish that I had an example for you,
Okay.
but I can give you examples of like what I've heard today. I had a claim. I'm going to tell you about the claim that I had today. It's a heating claim. It's freezing in Indiana right now. What is it, 25, 30 at night? It's very cold. So this gentleman's heater broke down. We got a vendor out already. We've deemed that it needs a replacement. We cannot repair it. The entire heating system has to be replaced because there is a crack in the heat exchanger. There are several things wrong. So we are replacing the entire thing. Middle plan. He does not have the top plan. Okay. So he's going to have to pay for some modification costs. He's getting a brand new furnace. Everything is brand new, but he's having to pay $700 out of pocket. Now, if he had the top plan, he'd probably have to pay about $250. So, I mean, as far as the question that you asked me, I mean, typically it's either covered or it's not, but there
Mm-hmm.
are some times that there are things that the homeowner is going to be responsible for. If your
Mm-hmm.
water heater fails because the pilot light's out or whatever, that's easy, right? Sometimes we have to replace that assembly there, and that's almost always a covered claim, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the whole thing has to be replaced, then there are inevitably going to have to be some space modifications or electrical or whatever, any modification. You can't just take an old one out typically and just insert that new one right in. Anything that has to be modified, those are the costs that I'm talking about. I hope that answers the question. I'm not sure it does.
Well, I think you answered it in a very eloquent way. I think it's like you said. I don't have an example to pitch to you to make that more helpful on your end, but I think that, like you said, it does go back to plan and reading the fine print and making sure that you understand. And that's also why you, as a customer, want to have a person local on the ground that you can contact for any questions rather than just calling an 800 number, because I mean, that brochure might be in the language that you understand, but having someone confirm those questions ahead of time so that you have the right expectations. And I think that's really what it comes back to is, clients can register for a particular plan, think that things are covered. And then when stress is actually in the picture, and like you said, it's 25, 30 degrees outside and your heater's out, you've got probably kids or pets, like it's a stressful situation. And I think to have one expectation and receive something else just adds fuel to the fire. So I think in this, what I'm hearing you say, Amie, is just to, if we can't stress this enough, make sure that you understand your program and what you're buying. And not to summarize this whole conversation already, but I think we can't stress enough the importance of going with the top tier plan, just so that everything is truly covered that can be fixed under a home warranty. And I love hearing that for that particular gentleman, he's getting a new furnace, because that's not a cheap,
Oh my word.
cheap.
No, not at all. And I want to stress to you, I mean, if you can tell I'm not a salesperson, like I'm not telling you to get the top plan because it's $80. That really makes no difference to me, but it's going to make a big difference to you. And then another thing based on something that you just said kind of sparked my thinking a little bit. When you call that 800 number, we do the best we can, right, with our customer service department, but they're scripted. They're hourly people, and they do a fantastic job. I don't want to, minimize that at all, but they are scripted. So when this gentleman was calling the 800 number, he was just frustrated. He wasn't getting the answers that he needed. Of course, his realtor said, you know what, call my girl. She will help you, and I will always answer the phone for my clients, because my goal is when they leave this service, or when they leave this experience, I want to make sure that they have been left with the same customer service that you, as their amazing realtor, have given them. They expect that, right? And so not always does everything end beautifully and pretty and tied up in a neat little bow, but at least they've experienced amazing customer service. And even if we've given them an answer that they don't love, they feel good about it because they know why contractually, and they've been taken care of and given amazing customer service.
Yep. I think it's either Napoleon Hill or Zig Ziglar. There's some type of quote out there, maybe it's Dale Carnegie, where it's people won't know how much you care until, oh shoot, I'm butchering this quote. It's a really good one. I think it's like,
I wish I knew it, because I love the where this is going.
it's like people won't know how much you care until you show them, or something. And
Yeah,
for my own benefit and everyone watching, I'll go back through the internet and find it and put it in the
it's
comments
the
of
truth
this.
though. Yeah.
It's a really good post, because, or comment, because the heart of it is, we can say that we care about somebody all we want. It's when stuff hits the fan, how are we going to respond, and how are we going to react, and demonstrate that compassion in the moment, especially after the sale. I think a lot of times people think, oh, they took my money and they're not going to call me back, or whatever. And that's not the case when you partner with the right people. Amie, speaking to specifically communication with a home warranty company, let's say that somebody does need to file a claim like what you're describing. What should they expect, or what type of standard of customer service should they expect when filing a claim, and that whole process?
Okay. I love this question, because there are a couple of different ways to file a claim. Everyone is different, right? Some people really want to hear a voice and know that, it's done. They've been given that, like, assurance. They've been spoken that, like, yes, your claim is filed or whatever. For me personally, I like to pop online, because I don't want to make a phone call if I don't have to. I live on the phone every day. So if I can do something online, I'm going to do it. So it takes literally 2 minutes to file a claim online, which I think is just fantastic. You need your email address, you need your policy number. You can pop online, make a claim, file that claim. You get an email confirmation with your claim number in it, okay, with choice. We love electronically. That's what we're all about. We do everything electronically. We send our claims out like an Uber. We communicate with our clients electronically. When a vendor picks that claim up, you get an automated phone call and another email. Like, we just love electronics here, or electronic communication. So again, whatever you're comfortable with. Some people really want that voice. I would say the older generation, maybe. The younger generation is probably going to be wanting to file those claims online. So whatever you fancy, do whatever you're comfortable with. The quickest way to file a claim, online.
Yeah, especially I think, like you said, when it's in the middle of the night and your furnace goes out, you might be able to call 24/7 and get a hold of somebody at 3 a.m, but your best bet to get in that queue and get somebody in process is going to be through an online.
I love that. And can I say one thing about that, in the middle of
Yes.
the night thing?
Yes.
Okay, so this is something about home warranty companies that people don't love. Okay. We've already talked about one of them. We're going to repair if we can, as in lieu of replacing, right? We will replace if we have to. We're always going to try to repair. But the biggest thing that I want to tell you is home warranty companies are not an emergency service. I hate those words, because I feel like those words right there just do not offer great customer service. When my heat is out and I have children, I have a baby, I have dogs, I don't care. Maybe I have nothing and it's just me and I'm freezing, and it's 30 degrees outside. I want to know that someone's going to be out there like that day. Home warranty is not an emergency service. We are going to do the very, very best that we can to get someone out there ASAP. But when someone picks that claim up, you really typically have to wait for that vendor to get out there. Sometimes we can work around it. If you do have an emergency situation, call your person. We'll either try to call a couple of other companies and get one of our good vendors out sooner. I have several heating units in my garage. I have an air conditioner in my garage, or 3. My husband hates that But I mean, I've taken it to clients because it's hot or it's cold and they need a little bit of comfort if our
Mhm.
vendor cannot get that out there for a day or two. So just remember that home warranties are not an emergency service. We're budget protection. If your clients call and talk to me about that, I'm not going to quite use those words, but I'm going
Right.
to try to explain that to them nicely and kindly and still let them know that we value them and we care, but it might not be today.
Yeah, I think that's a really good boundary to put into place. And again, it just goes back to managing expectations. And you know, we in our service industry, we work very, very hard. And some agents will say that you can't have boundaries in your business. And you know, working at after a certain amount of hours, and in my career, I've tried really hard to scale back and keep more dedicated business hours, because when your business is through your cell phone, you can be theoretically reached at any time, and that's not necessarily healthy. But you also want to make sure that in high stress situations that people feel that they are being tended to. So I think that it's a good boundary to put in place up front, that this is what we are and this is what we are not. Again, just because when should something occur, you can know how to properly proceed. Because I think, again, um, if you have a trusted partner or you're expecting them to act in a certain fashion and that's not the case, it hurts the situation rather than it being helpful. And my heart just like warmed so much when you said that. I've got heaters and units out in my garage, because it's
I do.
if I was in your position, I feel like that's something that I would do, because you know, especially with people with health issues. And I'd love to ask you this on the technician side of the situation. One of the other pain points that I've heard from, whether it's clients or just people in the street, you know, a random person, is that sometimes the pain points with a home warranty company is that the client doesn't get to choose who their preferred contractor is. It's who the home warranties company contractor is. And for lack of a better way to say this, it's when they can get out there, they get out there. And I mean, so that's one perspective, but what is your thought on that subject?
You're kind of right. So we do have our own set of vendors. Now, there are other home warranty companies that let you choose your own. What I have, they're great. Some people that might be for someone, right? The
Mm-hmm.
caps are typically lower, basically the maximum amount they're going to pay out for that mechanical system that has failed. Those caps tend to be a little bit lower when you're allowed to pick your own vendor. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to tell you why. We don't pay retail for anything, right? So when we use our set of vendors, they've already agreed to say, hey, yeah, we're going to work for you for this rate. We will pick up from your distributor if we have to do a replacement. We will pick up from the local Goodman Lennox in town. You know, these people here who are just retail, these retail vendors, they already have things on their truck. They've already paid for it. They've paid retail for it, right? Or they're marking it up. So that's why those caps are set a little bit lower. When you do work with a home warranty company that does have their own set of vendors, sometimes you do have to wait a little bit longer because those vendors, you know, they're booked out, or you know, they're smaller mom and pop shops. They're not the larger 1 hour heating and cooling or Williams Comfort Air. That's not who works for our company.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need home warranty business, right? They've got enough of their retail clients that they don't need any of our business. So we're going to work with smaller mom and pop shops who don't have as much availability. So you are correct about that. So let me just kind of reiterate: there are companies that allow you to use your own vendor, and then most home warranty companies definitely have their own set of vendors, okay? At
Mm-hmm.
Choice, we try to be a little bit of a hybrid. So if we can't find a company to come out to you, like, we give it 6 hours. Once we send it out or dispatch it out to our vendor network, we give it about 6 hours. If someone has picked it up, you're kind of stuck with that vendor. We can work around it if it's 6 days out. We can try to call them and say, hey, or you can call them and say, hey, I'm freezing. Can you get out sooner? You
Mm-hmm.
know, or whatever. The homeowner can do that because they always get their number. Or we can reassign it to someone who can get out sooner. But we give it that 6 hour window for that vendor to pick it up and communicate to that client to say, hey, I'm going to be there tomorrow or Thursday or whatever. If someone doesn't pick it up in 6 hours, within 6 hours, we allow them to get their own. We send them an email immediately that says, hey, we're struggling to find a vendor. Do you want to go through the reimbursement option? If they click there, we stop looking and we assume they're going to get their own vendor. We do reimburse in full per contract, okay? In those situations, they pay up front to the vendor. We send them a check within 30 days, okay? So, there's a couple of different kinds of companies, and I sell for Choice Home Warranty, but if you want to know those other companies, call me. I'll tell you. I may not be right for everyone. I want to hope I am right, but if I'm not right for you and you think you want that other option, I will tell you who those companies are.
I love it. And I think that that's a really great way to handle it, especially with a 6-hour lead time. That sounds very similar to some real estate teams that are a similar fashion in real estate. Someone inquires about a house online, here's a length of time that your agents have to, or this one agent has to get back with that person. It's a much shorter window. And if not, then it goes on to the next person. But I digress. So I think that that's really fantastic that you guys with specifically Choice, I would assume that it's very unusual for the types of people that you partner with, that someone cannot get back to a client within 6 hours before it's passed on and the client chooses their own, because you want to make sure that whoever you partner with is going to be someone who is responsive and picks that up within that short time frame. What would you say for someone who's analyzing different companies that you feel very proud about what Choice does differently to set people up for success than other companies in your market?
One of the reasons I came to Choice is because I felt like I had a voice here. So about 4 years ago, or however long it's been since I've worked for Choice, I think it's been 4 years, which is crazy. We all came from another company, and we all, we said we lost our voice. That's why we quit. Right? We lost our voice. We had really no say to help our customers. So at Choice, I have a direct line. My CEO's phone number is in my phone. And if I'm upset about something or if I need something, he's like, reach out to me. If you don't tell me that what's going wrong or what's going on, I don't know. So we have regular calls with him talking about how we can do things better for the customer, how we can do things differently. And then I never am one to pat my own back, but I answer my phone and I answer my emails and I answer text messages. And I think that is one of the most important things that you can have. Again, it just goes back to communication. So I think those two things are why I work for Choice, and I think what sets us apart.
And they're going to love your answers to that question when they see this interview. And then as far as for clients who are homeowners, they've been in their home for a number of years, what are things that they should consider in trying to wrap this up? I think we're getting close to our time, but why would someone who owns a home and has homeowners insurance need to consider possibly adding a home warranty? What would facilitate that to be a good decision?
I love that you asked that question only for this reason. Most homeowners who've lived in their home 5 years, 15 years, 1 year, they don't know that they can actually add a home warranty. They think they have to move or buy or sell in order to get a home warranty. Not the case. Anyone can get a home warranty. The difference between someone who's lived in their home 15 years, 5 years, 1 year, whatever, longer than 60 days, versus someone who has just recently been involved in a real estate transaction, the only difference, it's the same price, same plans. Everything is the same, except they have a 30-day waiting period before they can file a claim. They won't have that home inspection just in case we ask for it. If you file a claim within the first 30 to 60 days, right? There's no home inspection. So we give you a 30-day waiting period so everybody's happy. No one's upset that they, put a home warranty on and the next day had to file a heating claim and it's not covered because that heating problem didn't develop within that one day, right?
Yep.
So back to your question. Anyone can get a warranty. The reason I think that they should get that in addition to insurance is obviously kind of like, you have to have insurance on your home. Insurance doesn't really cover though for mechanical failures. Mechanical failures, and I always say the home warranty covers you for PEACH, PEACH. It's going to cover you for plumbing, electrical, appliances, cooling, and heating. Okay. So mechanical failures, that's different than insurance. Insurance is more like an act of God, or like, a storm comes along and blows your roof off. And, that's an insurance claim. A mechanical failure is just something that's old and just wears out and it just breaks down. Insurance company is not going to take care of you there. That's when your home warranty comes into play. So I think that that's why you should have insurance and a home warranty to really protect you.
Yes. And what I tell clients is, in a very micro level, homeowners insurance covers your house if something gets damaged. Home warranty covers if something breaks. So general,
Fails. Yeah.
generally easy way to explain it. Where do windows fall in that category?
So home warranty, think mechanical, think anything that makes your home run. So we don't cover anything structural. We
Yep.
don't cover mold. We don't cover the windows that the seals crack, right? And you have to replace the windows. We don't cover anything structural like that. The one structural thing that you can add to the home warranty, of course, there's always an exception to the rule, right? Is roof leak repair.
Yep.
But I'll tell you how I feel about that. Not great, because here's why. It's a $60 add-on, right? For choice. Choice it's 60. Other home warranty companies, 60, 65. We're all pretty similar. That's the industry standard though, like around that amount to add it on. But we all limit our liability on that pretty significantly. We are never going to replace a roof as a home warranty company. The max cap you're going to get on something like that is $500 to $1,000, maybe even $1,500 depending on the company. Okay, but we're never going to replace a roof. You get coverage when you have that with your home warranty company. You get coverage for damaged shingles only. So let's go back to just mechanical failures. The home warranty is anything that makes your house run. Think Peach. Again, I'll say it. PEACH, plumbing, electrical, appliances, cooling, heating, nothing really structural. Now, one other exception, and then I'll stop talking. When your clients buy a home with you, they can do something really cool. The first day they move in, they can file a claim to have their locks rekeyed. So they pay the $65 deductible, and then we get a locksmith out to them. We're going to rekey up to 4 locks for $65. We leave them with the key. So then they feel a little bit safer, right? That, the old homeowner no longer has the keys. They've got their own set of keys, brand new keys. So that's something kind of cool that we do that's more structural, right? Not really mechanical. But anyways,
I love that. How much would that be if they went through a regular locksmith as
I would
opposed
say a
to?
little over $200.
Wow. So right off the bat, if you were able to negotiate a home warranty into your deal, or you chose to voluntarily add one, you can get more so a return on that investment right away by just paying the $65 tradesman fee and then have.
Absolutely. On day one.
Yep.
Yep.
I love it. Well, Amie, what is the best way for people to connect with you if they have further questions about home warranties? And do you have a referral network for those watching who maybe are not located in the Indianapolis area?
I do. Choice is nationwide. I mean, I have friends all over the country that work for Choice, and when I tell you that we're friends, we are tight. We love each other. We refer each other. Business. If you have a client moving to Texas, say, I'll send you to my friend Mari. If you have someone moving to North Carolina, I'll send you to my friend Gary. So we do nationwide. But as far as getting a hold of me, go through your realtor, or I have one phone. My kids call this phone. I have lots of kids, and they call this phone when when they need me, when they're in trouble. But I'm very responsive to the phone. Call me. My number is 317-619-7790. I'm available. I try to keep regular business hours, but if someone has an emergency, I do try to respond. And then email, of course. And you can find my email on my website. It's www.amiedrudge.com.
Love it. Well, Amie, thank you so much for your time and energy and all of your valuable input today. I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg, and you're certainly a wealth of knowledge. Thank you for your continued dedication to our industry. I know that you're heavily involved locally with the local board of associations, and you as a company just do a lot from a volunteering aspect and giving back. So it's neat to watch as an affiliate partner. And for those
right back at you. Yes. I met you during a MyBoard meeting in which you were volunteering. So, and you are just, top in the industry, and I really am honored to be here. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I know we both work really hard and love what we do. So And then also too, Choice is also an FPG preferred vendor. So every year we analyze best of the market and look at who we want to partner with as a company. And so that's on a very particular basis. And Amy's just full disclosure here. So we don't get any kickbacks as agents from home warranty companies, typically speaking. There used to be a referral fee, but then I always gave it back to my clients to help reduce the cost of that home warranty fee. And I think since then, home warranties have done away with that referral fee. So full disclosure too, anytime an agent has to or does receive a kickback, they have to disclose it. So you know as a consumer, but it's just been such a pleasure to partner with you, Amie, as a company and get to know you better through FPG. But thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you.
I'll see you around.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. Mwah. Thanks for having me.
Bye.